Chairman and fellow trade unionists, I thank you for that kind welcome. It's always an honor and a pleasure to address your conference. We're living in very anxious days. I've recently spoken on the wireless to the nation of what is required from the British people to uphold the democratic way of life. I address myself to the whole nation. But I'm glad to have this opportunity of speaking to the representatives of the organized workers of the country. The distasteful but necessary devaluation of the pound sterling has been having the results which we anticipated in promoting our industrial and economic recovery. But this action by the government could not have achieved its object without the cooperation of all sections of the community. And I should like this morning to pay a special tribute to the wise restraint exercised by the leaders and by the rank and file of the trade union movement. When we sought the cooperation of everyone to exercise restraint in the matter of personal incomes, we didn't attempt to oppose an arbitrary wage freeze. We relied on the cooperation of the workers, and we didn't rely in vain. There is still that danger, as you all know so well, of an inflationary spiral. And I would reiterate that warning again today, especially as it will be manifest to all of you that this danger is increased by the additional expenditure on armaments which we've been obliged to undertake. And difficulties, due in the main to communist-inspired action, have forced upon us the necessity of spending far more on defense than we could have wished. In Asia and in Africa, we've met this attack first by making countries such as India, Pakistan and Ceylon free and equal partners in the British Commonwealth. We've met it by extending an ever-increasing measure of self-government to the colonial peoples, and then by doing our utmost to raise the standard of life in the less developed areas. And thirdly, by withstanding attempts which are made to create anarchy and foment revolution in some areas. But this, with our obligations arising out of the war, has placed a very heavy strain on our armed forces. And mindful, as we all must be, of the dire consequences which flowed in the past from acquiescing in aggression, we and the other peace-loving states in the United Nations have taken action. And in this we were glad to have the overwhelming support of organized labor in this country. But in the light of what's occurred, we have to step up our defenses. Increased pay is only one factor in attempting to overcome this shortage of men for the forces. We want the men and women in the services to feel they're doing a worthwhile job. And in very many cases today, it's a highly skilled job. We want them to feel there's a career for those who want to stay in the services, and good prospects in civil life for those who have terminated their service careers. It will, of course, be obvious to you all the diversion of labor and resources from peace production to munitions of war, the retention of more men in the armed services, must have some adverse effect on the amount of goods and services available to the community for maintaining our standard of life. How different has been the history of trade unionism in the countries that are communist controlled. Here the trade unions have no real independent life of their own. They have massive memberships, but they are in fact merely a part of the machinery of the police state, servile instruments of the ruling bureaucracy. Russian communism perverts whatever it touches. The totalitarian state admits no will but that of the rulers. Even science and art and literature and music that should be free are regimented and controlled by the bureaucracies. Against this sterile creed, we set our conception of the democratic community of free peoples. We've been steadily building up in this country what's come to be called the welfare state. The state that's concerned not with the ambitions of a ruling caste, but with the welfare of every individual human being in the community. The nominal trade unionist, who allows others to run the branch meeting and not infrequently to misrepresent him, is failing in his duty to himself, to his country, and to the democratic cause. I can assure you that we in the government will continue to do our utmost to realize the great aims of the labour movement. May I, in conclusion, wish you all success in the coming year and at this conference.
Gentlemen, I would like to say thank you very much for these perfectly lovely flowers. I was very glad to be allowed to come with my husband. Thank you.